Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss the example for probability. The probability is that it will rain is 0.4. The probability is that Lim will be late for school if it's rain is 0.6. The probability is that Lim will be late for school if it does not rain is 0.2. Find the probabilities that. So now we have the situation which is a dependent situation. So my suggestion is to represent the situation in a tree diagram. So let's have the situation rain. So the situation will be 0.4 for the probability if it will rain. Next we have next situation rain complement, which is 0.6. Next, the probability is that Lim will be late for school if it's rain. So here we have the situation late. So the probability will be 0.6. Next, we have late complement. So the probability will be 0.4. The probability is that Lim will be late for school if it does not rain is 0.2. So the situation late. So the probability is 0.2. Next, we have late complement. The situation will be 0.8. So rewrite the situation. So the probability is that the situation is late given that it is rain. So we can express the situation as probabilities for late intersect with rain over probabilities for rain. Next, we have probabilities that late complement given that the situation is rain. So we can express the situation as intersect over the probability for rain. Next, so here we have the tree diagram. Next, focus on the questions. The probabilities that Lim will be late for the school. So kindly refers to the situation where we have late for school. So here will be the reference. So meaning that we are looking for probabilities that late intersect with rain complement or the probabilities that late intersect with rain. So what we can do is to multiply the situation where we have probability of rain multiply with the probabilities for late given that it's a rain. 0.6 multiply with 0.4. The next situation where we have the probabilities of rain complement multiply with the situation probabilities of late given that rain complement. So where we have 0.2 multiply with 0.6. So the probability for Lim will be late for school is equals to 9 over 25 or 0.36. Next, B, it's rain. Given that Lim is not late for school. So here we have the situation. So kindly express the situation where we have the probability for rain intersect with late complement over the probability for late complement. So kindly refers to the situation rain and late complement. So here we have the situation. So in order to find the late and late complement, where we have to cross multiply the situation, 0.4 multiply with 0.4 over the probability for late complement is 1 minus 0.36. As a conclusion, the probability is that it's rain given that Lim is not late for school is equals to 1 over 4 or 0.25. I'm going to discuss the example for random variable. The table below shows a probability distribution function of a discrete random variable y. The variance of y is 8. Shows that k squared minus 2k minus 35 is equals to 0. Find k if it is given that k is a positive. Hence, find the value of e bracket y plus 2. So kindly focus on the table where we have the random variable y, 1, and k. Next, we have the probability, where we have 1 over 3 and 2 over 3. Then, my suggestion is to multiply the y with the probability. So where we will have 1 over 3 and 2k over 3. Next, y squared multiply with the probability. So where we will have 1 over 3, k squared multiply with 2 over 3. So we will have 2k squared over 3. Next, focus on the variance of y is equals to 8. As we all know, the formula for the variance, where we have e y squared minus e y bracket squared. So means that we have to sum up this part. So we will have 1 over 3 plus 2k squared over 3 minus, focus on this part, where we have 1 over 3 plus 2k over 3 bracket square. Kindly focus on this part. So where we will have 8 is equals to 1 plus 2k squared over 3 minus bracket 1 plus 2k bracket square over 9. So expand the situation. So where we will have 8 is equals to 1 plus 2k squared over 3 minus bracket 1 plus 4k squared over 9. Multiply all the terms with 9. So we will have 72 is equals to 3 multiplied with 1 plus 2k squared minus, where we have minus 1 minus 4k squared. Expand the situation. 72 is equals to 3 plus 6k squared minus 4k squared minus 4k minus 1. So rearrange the situation, where we have 2k squared minus 4k plus 3 minus 1 minus 72, 0. So where we will have 2k squared minus 4k minus 70 equals to 0. Divide by 2. So we will have k squared minus 2k minus 35 is equals to 0. And we already shown the situation. Next, find the value k. So what we can do is to factorize the situation, where we have k minus 7 multiplied with k plus 5 is equals to 0. So the value for k is equals to 7. The value for another k will be equals to negative 5. So by referring to the question, find the k if it is given that k is a positive. So here we have k is equals to 7. So now, since k is equals to 7, kindly substitute into the table. So where we have y is equals to 1 and 7. So the probabilities for the y is equals to 1 over 3 and 2 over 3. Next, y multiply with the probability. So where we will have 1 over 3, 14 over 3. So in order to find the expected value for y, where we will have 1 over 3 plus 14 over 3. So the expected value for y will be equals to 15 over 3, where we will obtain 5. Next, the question asks us to find e y plus 2. By referring to the properties, where we have e y plus with e 2. Kindly substitute the situation, where we will have 5 plus with the 2. So e bracket y plus 2 is equals to 7. Video, I'm going to discuss the example for special probability distribution. The mark obtained in an examination follow the normal distribution with the mean 46 and the variance 256. So my suggestion is to express the situation for the variance standard deviation squared, where we will have 16 squared. If the pass mark is 50, find the probabilities that passes the examination. So means that the first one, where we have probabilities that x is greater equals to 50. So what we have to do now, the first step would be standardize the situation. So probabilities that z is greater equals to 50 minus 46 over 16. Simplify the situation. So z is greater equals to 0.25. By referring to the table, where we will have the situation, probabilities that x is greater equals to 50 will be equals to 0.4013. Next, for the second part, if 5% of the candidate get a distinction. So what is the least mark they get? So the question will be probabilities that x is greater equals to d is equals to 0.05. So step number 1 is to standardize the situation, where we have d minus 46 over 16 is equals to 0.05. Next, by referring to the graph, where we have the standard normal, first, locate the z on the left. Then, z is greater than equals to d minus 46 over 16. So in here will be the region. So kindly referring to the answer, 0.05. Does it make sense? The answer is no. Because as we all know, the half of the graph is 0.5. So now locate the graph z on the right. So shaded the region. Does it make sense for 0.05? The answer is yes. By referring to the standard normal table, and we have the value for z is equals to 1.6449. So z is equals to d minus 46 over 16 is equals to 1.6449. So kindly rearrange the situation. So d is equals to 16 multiplied with 1.6449 plus with 46. So the value for d is equals to 72.3184. So round up the situation. So the d will be 72.3 marks. In this video, I'm going to discuss the example for numerical method. Use the trapezoidal rule with 5 ordinates. So in here, if you have 5 ordinates, means that n is equals to 4, where we have n is equals to the strip or subinterval. To find the approximate value of, where we have the function 1 plus cos x to the power 4 for the limits 0 until pi over 5. Give your answer correct to 4 decimal places. So next is to find the h, where we have pi over 5 minus 0 over 4. So the value of h is equals to pi over 20. So kindly construct the table where we have the value of x. So x0 is equals to 0, where we have the initial value. Next, we have x1 is equals to pi over 20. Followed by x2, we have 2 pi over 20. x3 is equals to 3 pi over 20. Next, we have x4, which is 4 pi over 20. So 4 pi over 20 actually equals to pi over 5. Next is to substitute the value y, where we have 1 plus cos x to the power of 4. So do remember, set the calculator in mode radian, because we are dealing with triple. If we substitute the 0, and we will have y0 is equals to 16, then y1 will be equals to 15.609649. y2 is equals to 14.490367. Followed by y3 is equals to 12.787101. Finally, y4 is equals to 10.709534. Sum up the situation. So where we have y0 plus with the y4, and we have 26.709534. If we sum up the y1, y2, and y3, and we will have 42.887117. So kindly substitute the situation into the formula, where we have h over 2, bracket, sum up the situation y0 and y4, where we have 26.709534, plus 2 multiplied with 42.887117. Simplify the situation, and we will have 8.83445448. Round up the situation, correct to 4 decimal places. So 8.8345. I'm going to discuss the example for conic. Find the equation of the circle passes through the point A, 0, 3, and B, 4, negative 1, and having its center on the line 3x plus 4y plus 1 equals to 0. So kindly illustrate the situation, the point 0, 3. And we have another point where we have 4, negative 1. Next, we have a line where we have the center named as negative g, negative f. So my suggestion is to substitute the situation into the general equation of the circle. So if we substitute the point 0, 3, so we will have 9 plus 0 plus 6f plus with the c equals to 0. Rearrange the situation. So where we will have 6f plus c equals to negative 9, equation number 1. Next, substitute the point b for negative 1. So where we will have 16 plus 1 plus with 8g minus 2f plus c equals to 0. Rearrange the situation. 8g minus 2f plus c is equals to negative 17. Here we have the second equation. Next is to substitute the center, negative g, negative f, into the line where we have 3x plus 4y plus 1 equals to 0. So, center, negative g, negative f. And we will obtain negative 3g minus 4f plus with 1 is equals to 0. So here we name it as the third equation. Next, what we have to do is to try to eliminate the c. So where we have equation 1 minus with the equation 2. So in here we have negative 8g, 6f minus with negative 2f, so we will have positive 8f. C minus c, we will have 0. Negative 9 minus with the negative 17, and we will have 8. Simplify the situation. So negative g plus with the f is equals to 1. So rearrange the situation. So g is equals to f minus 1. Here we have the fourth equation. Kindly substitute the fourth equation into the third equation. So where we will have negative 3 bracket f minus 1 minus 4f plus 1 equals to 0. So negative 3f plus with the 3 minus 4f plus 1 is equals to 0. So negative 7f plus with the 4 is equals to 0. So f will be equals to 4 over 7. Then kindly substitute the situation into the fourth equation. So g is equals to 4 over 7 minus 1, and we will obtain negative 3 over 7. Next, kindly substitute the situation f into the first equation. So where we will have 6 multiplied with 4 over 7 plus with the c is equals to negative 9. So c will be equals to negative 9 minus with 24 over 7. So c will be equals to negative 87 over 7. Next, kindly substitute the value into the general equation. So where we have x squared plus y squared plus 2g, where we have negative 3 over 7, x plus 2f, where we have 4 over 7, y, plus with the c, where we have negative 87 over 7 is equals to 0. Kindly simplify the situation. So x squared plus y squared minus 6 over 7x plus 8 over 7y minus 87 over 7 is equals to 0. Multiply all the terms with 7, so we will have 7x squared plus 7y squared minus 6x plus 8y minus 87 is equals to 0. In this video, I'm going to discuss example for vector. A plane and a line have the equation r dot n is equals to 2, and the equation of line where we have r is equals to a plus td, respectively. Shows that the position vector of the points of intersection between the plane and the line is given by, where we have the situation. Hence, find the points of intersection between the plane, where we have the position vector 2, 1, 3 is equals to 2, and the line where we have r with the position vector negative 1, 2, and 1, plus with t with the vector 1, 2, and 3. So given the situation, r dot n is equals to 2, and the line equation r is equals to a plus td. So now stated r is equals to a plus td. Kindly substitute the situation. A plus TD dot with the n is equals to 2. So if we dot the situation, so means that we have A dot n plus where we have T multiplied with D dot n is equals to 2. So rearrange the situation and kindly express T as a subject. So where we have 2 minus A dot n over D dot n is equals to T. So kindly substitute the R is equals to A plus TD. Kindly substitute this situation into this part. So where we will have R is equals to A plus T, where we have 2 minus A dot n over D dot n. Multiply with D. So kindly refers to the situation where we already shown. Hence, find the points of intersection between the plane where we have R dot n. So the n is 2, 1, and 3. And the line where we have the A is equals to -1, 2, and 1. And the D where we have 1, 2, and 3. So here we have x, y, and z is equals to A where we have -1, 2, 1. Plus we have a bracket 2 minus A dot n where we have -1, 2, and 1, dot with the n where we have 2, 1, and 3, over D dot n. So where we have D, 1, 2, and 3, dot with the n where we have 2, 1, and 3, multiply with the D where we have 1, 2, and 3. So kindly focus on this part. X, y, and z is equals to -1, 2, and 1 plus bracket 2 minus dot the situation. So we will have -2 plus with the 2 plus with the 3 over dot this part where we have 2 plus with the 2 plus with the 9. Multiply with 1, 2, and 3. So simplify the situation where we have x, y, and z is equals to -1, 2, and 1 plus bracket. So kindly focus on this part where we have 0 plus with the 3. So 2 minus 3 where we have -1 over 4 plus with the 9. So we will have 13. Multiply with 1, 2, and 3. So finally we have the situation x is equals to -1 minus with 1 over 13. Next, y, where we have 2 minus 2 over 13. Z, where we have 1 minus 3 over 13. So finally, x is equals to -14 over 13. Y is equals to 24 over 13. And z is equals to 10 over 13. So the question said points of intersection. So where we have -14 over 13, 24 over 13, and then 10 over 13. So next, given the point P, Q, and R by using the scalar product of a vector to prove the situation. So scalar product where we have A dot B is equals to magnitude A multiply with the magnitude B cos theta. So what we have to do is to find the situation where we have cos with the angle PQR. So the starting point will be the Q. So QP, where we have OP minus OQ. So kindly substitute the value where we have 1, 2, 3 minus the Q, 2, -1, and 1. So the vector for the QP is equals to -1, 3, and 2. Next, focus on the second part where we have QR. So OR minus OQ. The OR is -1, -3, and 2 minus the OQ where we have 2, -1, and 1. So the vector for QR is equals to -3, -2, and 1. So kindly substitute into the formula where we have -1, 3, and 2 dot with -3, -2, 1 equals to magnitude for QP where we have 1 plus with the 9 plus with the 4. Multiply with the magnitude of QR, where we have 9 plus 4 plus 1 cos theta. Focus on the left hand side where we have to dot the situation. So 3 minus 6 plus with the 2 is equals to square root of 14 multiply with the square root of 14 cos theta. So 3 minus 6 plus with the 2, so where we have negative 1 over square root of 14 multiply with the square root of 14, where we will have 14 is equals to cos with the angle for PQR. So rewrite the situation. So cos for the angle PQR is equals to negative 1 over 14. And we already shown the situation. In this video, I'm going to discuss example for vector. A plane and a line have the equation r dot n is equals to 2. And the equation of line where we have r is equals to a plus td respectively. Shows that the position vector of the points of intersection between the plane and the line is given by, where we have the situation. Hence, find the points of intersection between the plane where we have the position vector 2, 1, 3 is equals to 2. And the line where we have r with the position vector negative 1, 2, and 1 plus with t with the vector 1, 2, and 3. So given the situation, r dot n is equals to 2 and the line equation r is equals to a plus td. So now stated r is equals to a plus td. Kindly substitute the situation. A plus td dot with the n is equals to 2. So if we dot the situation, so means that we have a dot n plus where we have t multiply with d dot n is equals to 2. So rearrange the situation and kindly express t as a subject. So where we have 2 minus a dot n over d dot n is equals to t. So kindly substitute the r is equals to a plus td. Kindly substitute this situation into this part. So where we will have r is equals to a plus t, where we have 2 minus a dot n over d dot n. Multiply with d. So kindly refers to the situation where we already shown. Hence, find the points of intersection between the plane where we have r dot n. So the n is 2, 1, and 3. And the line where we have the a is equals to negative 1, 2, and 1. And the d where we have 1, 2, and 3. So here we have x, y, and z is equals to a, where we have negative 1, 2, 1. Plus, we have a bracket, 2 minus a dot n, where we have negative 1, 2, and 1. Dot with the n, where we have 2, 1, and 3. Over d dot n. So where we have d, 1, 2, and 3. Dot with the n, where we have 2, 1, and 3. Multiply with the d, where we have 1, 2, and 3. So kindly focus on this part. X, y, and z is equals to negative 1, 2, and 1 plus bracket 2 minus dot the situation. So we will have negative 2 plus with the 2 plus with the 3 over dot this part where we have 2 plus with the 2 plus with the 9. Multiply with 1, 2, and 3. So simplify the situation where we have x, y, and z is equals to negative 1, 2, and 1 plus bracket. So kindly focus on this part where we have 0 plus with the 3. So 2 minus 3 where we have negative 1 over 4 plus with the 9. So we will have 13. Multiply with 1, 2, and 3. So finally, we have the situation x is equals to negative 1 minus with 1 over 13. Next, y, where we have 2 minus 2 over 13. Z, where we have 1 minus 3 over 13. So finally, x is equals to negative 14 over 13. y is equals to 24 over 13, and z is equals to 10 over 13. So the question said points of intersection. So where we have negative 14 over 13, 24 over 13, and then 10 over 13. So next, given the point P, Q, and R by using the scalar product of a vector to prove the situation. So scalar product where we have A dot B is equals to magnitude A multiplied with the magnitude B cos theta. So what we have to do is to find the situation where we have cos with the angle PQR. So the starting point will be the Q. So QP, where we have OP minus OQ. So kindly substitute the value where we have 1, 2, 3 minus the Q, 2, negative 1, and 1. So the vector for the QP is equals to negative 1, 3, and 2. Next, focus on the second part where we have QR. So OR minus OQ. The OR is negative 1, negative 3, and 2 minus the OQ where we have 2, negative 1, and 1. So the vector for QR is equals to negative 3, negative 2, and 1. So kindly substitute into the formula where we have negative 1, 3, and 2 dot with negative 3, negative 2, 1 equals to magnitude for QP where we have 1 plus with the 9 plus with the 4 multiply with the magnitude of QR where we have 9 plus 4 plus 1 cos theta. Focus on the left hand side where we have to dot the situation. So 3 minus 6 plus with the 2 is equals to square root of 14 multiply with the square root of 14 cos theta. So 3 minus 6 plus with the 2, so where we have negative 1 over square root of 14 multiply with the square root of 14 where we will have 14 is equals to cos with the angle for PQR. So rewrite the situation. So cos for the angle PQR is equals to negative 1 over 14. And we already shown the situation. Video, I'm going to discuss the example for a random variable. A probability distribution function for every element of a discrete random variable where we have the x for the integer 1 until 6 is as below. Kindly construct a table where we have the random variable x is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we have the probability when the x is equals to 1 and we will have 1 over a. If the x is equals to 2 and we will have 4 over a. If the x is equals to 3 and we will have 3 over a. Next, followed by 4 and we will have 16 over a. If we have 5, then we will have 5 over a. If the x is equals to 6 and we will have 36 over a. So find the value a. As we all know, the summation for the probability is equals to 1. So means that we have to add on the situation where we have 1 plus with the 4 plus with the 3 plus with the 16 plus with 5 and 36 over a is equals to 1. So a will be equals to 65. So kindly substitute the value a into the table. So the probability will be equals to 1 over 65 followed by 4 over 65, 3 over 65, 16 over 65, 5 over 65, and 36 over 65. So kindly refers to the question B, where we have the probabilities that define the situation where we have the modulus for x minus 3 less than equals to 1. So we have an end case, x minus 3 and 1. Simplify the situation. Probabilities that where we have 3 minus 1 and then we have 3 plus 1. So finally, the probabilities that x is greater equals to 2 less than equals to 4. So here we have the situation. So kindly refers to the table where we want to have 2, 3, and 4. So the probability will be 4 plus with the 3 plus with the 16 over 65. So the probabilities that modulus for x minus 3 less than equals to 1 will be equals to 23 over 65. Next refers to the question C, where we have probabilities that x greater than 4.5. Since this is a discrete random variable, so psi is very important, so we will have probabilities that x greater equals to 5. So the probability will be 5 plus with 36 over 65. So the probability is that x greater than 4.5, and we will have 41 over 65. In this video, I'm going to discuss the example for random variable. The continuous random variable x has the probability density function given by the function. So my suggestion is to illustrate the situation in a number line. So where we have 0 until 1 with the function c, and 1 until 2 where we have the function c multiplied with 2 minus x. Otherwise, we have a function 0. Find the value of c. As we all know, integrate from negative infinity until infinity for the function fx with respect to x, and we will have 1. So kindly refers to the number line where we have integrate from 0 to 1 for the function c respect to x, plus where we have integrate from 1 to 2 for the function 2 minus x with respect to x multiplied with the c is equals to 1. So kindly integrate the situation where we have cx with the limit 1, 0 plus where we have c bracket 2 minus x to the power of 2 over 2 multiplied with the negative 1 with the limit 2 and 1, which is equals to 1. Next, kindly substitute the situation where we have c minus with 0. Next, we have negative c over 2 bracket. If we substitute 2, and we will obtain 0. If we substitute 1, and we will have negative 1, which is equals to 1. So c minus with c over 2 multiplied with the negative 1, so we will have positive c over 2 equals to 1. So if we simplify the situation, and we will have 3c over 2 is equals to 1. So finally, c is equals to 2 over 3. So kindly substitute the value into the number line. Next, find the cumulative distribution function. So here we have 4 parts where we have A, B, C, and D. So kindly focus on the first part where we have t is less than 0 for the function integrate from negative infinity until t for the function 0 dx, where we have 0. So ft is equals to 0. As for the second part, where we have part B, the domain would be 0 until 1. T is greater equals to 0 and less than 1 for the function integrate from negative infinity until 0 for the function 0 dx, plus where we have integrate from 0 until t for the function 2 over 3 dx. So we can express the situation as f0 plus where we have 2x over 3 for the limit t 0. So if we substitute the situation, and we will have ft is equals to 2t over 3. Next, for the third part, where we have part C. So with the domain, t is greater equals to 1 and less than 2. For the function, where we have f1 plus integrate from 1 until t for the function, where we have 2 over 3 multiplied with 2 minus x to the power of 1 with respect to x. So kindly substitute the f1 into this part, and we will have 2 over 3 plus 2 minus x to the power of 2 over negative 2 multiplied with 2 over 3 for the limit t and 1. So if we substitute the situation, and we will have ft is equals to 2 over 3 minus 1 over 3 bracket. If we substitute the t, so we will have 2 minus t bracket square minus, if we substitute 1, and we will obtain 1. So kindly simplify the situation. So we will have 2 over 3 minus bracket 2 minus t to the power of 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3. So if we simplify the situation, ft is equals to 1 minus 2 minus t to the power of 2 over 3. Next, for the part 4, so t greater equals to 2 for the function f2 plus integrate from 2 until t for the function 0 dt. If we substitute the 2, and we will obtain ft is equals to 1. So as a conclusion, the cumulative distribution function where we have fx with number 1 where we have 0, and the domain would be x less than 0. Second function would be 2x over 3 for the domain x is greater equals to 0 and less than 1. The third function would be 1 minus 2 minus x to the power of 2 over 3. X is greater equals to 1 and less than 2. Finally, we have 1, and then the domain will be x greater equals to 2. That will be the cumulative distribution function. So kindly refers to the C, where we have the probabilities that x is greater equals to 1 over 2 and less than 3 over 2. So kindly focus on the situation, and my suggestion is to make use of the cumulative distribution function, where we have f 3 over 2 minus f 1 over 2. So kindly refers to the function where we have 3 over 2. So 1 minus 2 minus 3 over 2 bracket square over 3 minus where we have function for 1 over 2. So here will be the function for 1 over 2. So where we have 2 multiplied with 1 over 2 over 3. So kindly simplify the situation. So here we have 1 minus 2 minus 3 over 2, where we will have 1 over 2 squared. So we will have 1 over 12 minus where we have 1 over 3. So simplify the situation. 1 minus 5 over 12. So as a conclusion, the probability for that situation would be 7 over 12. Here we have the example for special probability distribution. In a production process of cup, it is known that on average 40 cups have cracked in every 1000 cup produced. So here we have the situation. 40 over 1000, and the probabilities of cracking is 0.04. Number 1. Find the probabilities that at most 3 cups having cracks in a random samples of 10. So by referring to this case, where we have the title is binomially distributed with n is equals to 10, and the probabilities of crack is 0.04. So the question would be probabilities that x and 3. By referring to the question, at most 3 cups, so means that less than or equals to. So by referring to the situation, what we have to do is to modify, and we have a new formula, 1 minus probabilities that x greater equals to 4. By referring to the table, where we have 1 minus, for the probabilities x greater equals to 4, it equals to 0.0004. So simplify the situation. The probabilities that x less than equals to 3 is equals to 0.9996. Second part. If the probabilities that no cup in K cup selected at random having crack is 0.12, determine the value of K. So in here, the title is binomially distributed with n and 0.04 crack. So given the question, probabilities that no cup, so means that x is equals to 0. In K cups, so means that the n actually represent the K. So the answer is 0.12. By referring to the formula for the binomial distribution, where we have NC0, 0.04 power of 0, 0.96 to the power of n is equals to 0.12. Simplify the situation. NC0 we have 1. Same goes to 0.04 to the power of 0, we also have 1. So we have 0.96 to the power of n is equals to 0.12. my suggestion is to ln both sides. So by using the properties of log, we can bring forward the n if we have ln. So n is equals to ln 0.12 over ln 0.96. So the value of n is equals to 51.94. If we round up the situation, n is approximate as 52. So the value of n, it is actually is a value of k. Number 3, find the probabilities that more than 2 cups have cracked in a random sample size 200. So x is binomially distributed with 200 as an n and 0.04 for the title crack. Next, we have the probabilities that more than 2, so where we have the value 2, more than 2, so x is greater than 2 as a questions. By referring to the title, where we have n is greater than 50, so means that binomial distribution is not suitable. Next, x is Poissonly distributed, where we have lambda as the mean, where we have np. Multiply the 200 with 0.04 and we will have the value 8. So by referring to the diagram, first what we have to do is the value of np must be less than or equals to 5. So for this case, Poisson distribution is not suitable. Next, move on to the normal distribution with the lambda or the mean or the mu is equals to 8. And the variance is 7.68, where we have n, p, and q, which is 200 multiplied with the 0.04 multiplied with 0.96, and we will obtain 7.68. So my advice is express the situation in standard deviation square for the variance. So we will have the situation from the binomial to the normal. So do remember to have the continuity correction. So step number 1, kindly have the correction. So where we have x is greater or equals to 2.5 for the correction. Second step is to standardize the situation. So where we have z is greater or equals to 2.5 minus 8 over square root of 7.68. Simplify the situation. Z is greater or equals to negative 1.98. Next, by referring to the diagram, then the location, then the region, where we have z greater and equals to negative 1.98. Next is to modify the situation, where we have 1.98 and we have the region on the left. So the formula will be 1 minus d's part, where we have probabilities that z greater or equals to 1.98. By referring to the table, where we have 1 minus 0.0239. So as a conclusion, the probabilities that x greater than 2 is equals to 0.9761. If you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel and share this video to your friend. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.